right, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night, whatever time you're tuning into this video, just make sure that it is good. My name is Game Boy Rob, and today is a most momentous day. Today is the day I've been looking forward to for a few weeks now. Not as long as I have been looking forward to other patches, but ever since we saw Zilean revealed, I have been just waiting and waiting for this day to come, and it is finally here. We finally get to play with the new cards, the new champions. There were 3 new champions introduced to the game today: Zilean, Malphite, and Irelia. And today we're going to be focusing on that third one. We're going to be looking at Irelia today, because today, I don't know about you guys, but if you guys have been playing on the ladder, you might have noticed a rather large amount of Irelia decks flooding the ladder, and there's a very good reason for that. There's a very good reason that we've been seeing this deck everywhere, and that's because it is really stinking good. It's really stinking strong. This is a deck built around Irelia and Azir together. Irelia and Azir both synergize really well. They both sort of do the same thing, which is summon a million 1/1s that hit the opponent and then die. Right? Azir's Sand Soldiers, when they are ephemeral, so when they hit the Nexus, they die, right? And Irelia's Blades, when they hit the Nexus, well, when they leave combat, they obliterate themselves. So whether they're blocked or not, they're not going to your bench, they're going away, right? I guess I should introduce Irelia. In case you guys have been living under a rock, in case you guys have not been paying attention to the reveals, Irelia is a new champion that was added today. She is a 3-mana 3/2 with quick attack, and she says, when I'm summoned or round start, if you have the attack token, create a flawless duet in hand, which is this, which Blade dances for 2. When you play it, Blade Dance means start a free attack with that many blades. So Blade Dance 2 means you start a free attack with 2 blades, and when those blades finish being in combat, they obliterate themselves and go away. And then when you attack with 12 or more allies, Irelia levels up, and essentially she just gets +1/+1, and then the first part is the same, and then she also gets this nifty little ability that says, when allies attack, create a Blade Surge in hand. And Blade Surge, complex champion, I know. This is Blade Surge right here, which is a 0-mana swap Irelia with an ally at burst speed. The fact that this is 0 mana makes this card incredibly powerful. Incredibly powerful. Blade Surge is nuts. It can only be used with Irelia specifically, but this is a great way to just like get that little bit of extra lethal. Your opponent has to really think hard about how they want to block when you have these in your hand. But oftentimes you don't need that. Oftentimes you're winning the game with this deck on like round 5, round 6, right? Like Irelia doesn't need to level up for you to win the game with this deck. And you might be asking, well, why is that? Why is this deck so good? And it's just aggro. This might be the new best aggro deck. I don't know if this is gonna end up being better than Jinx Draven or Nightfall or Nasus Thresh or any of those decks. However, this is a very strong deck. It is probably going to end up being better than Lucian Azir ever was. I think I can say that this deck was better than Lucian Azir ever was. And the reason for that is mostly because Sparring Student and Greenglade Duo have just nuts synergy with all of what this deck wants to do. In addition to that, Azir and Emperor's Dais have also nutty synergy with anything that Blade dances. Essentially, we're going to be flooding the board with like 6 1/1s every single round. And Greenglade Duo and not Dunekeeper, Sparring Student are just gonna have massive attack stats, and they're just gonna go face, and they're gonna hit really hard, and your opponents are just not gonna be able to do anything for the amount of mana that they have, right? This deck can pump out an insane number of units with a very low amount of mana, and that's what makes it so good. Our biggest units our biggest cards cost 5 mana, and that's Inspiring Marshal and Sandswept Tomb. Sandswept Tomb is just a bigger version of Azir and Emperor's Dais. It summons, instead of summoning a 1/1, it summons a 5/2 every time you attack, which means every time you Blade Dance, you're gonna summon one of these, which is pretty fun. Another new addition to the Ionia archetype that I should mention is Dancing Droplet. Dancing Droplet and Field Musicians are the primary way that we draw more cards. Mostly Field Musician. Field Musicians is really, really good in this deck. It is super easy to get the to fulfill this requirement, summoning 3 allies in a round. That is so easy, and then it refills your spell mana, draws you a card, and you can just keep going, right? You just keep going, you never run out of gas. Dancing Droplet is not quite as, like, ridiculous as I had thought it was going to be. It is great. It is insane, don't get me wrong, but it's not quite as all-consuming as I thought it was going to be. It turns out it's pretty difficult to get a three card combo out on like round 2, but if you can get Dancing Droplet into Retreat, into Azir or Irelia, the game kind of ends. That's kind of just ridiculously strong if you can do that on round 2. But that doesn't usually happen. It's pretty hard to get that to happen. But we are running 3 copies of Lead and Follow and 3 copies of Retreat, so that we can recall Dancing Droplet, get some card draws, so that we can recall Ribbon Dancer and get her Blade Dancing multiple times, that sort of thing. And yeah, that's pretty much the deck right there. We're also running 2 copies of Syncopation as a way to kind of surprise lethal our opponent. If we have like an 8-1 that our opponent blocks, we can just like swap it to an unblocked spot, which is pretty ridiculous. And yeah, I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised at all if in a couple weeks we realize that this deck is in fact a tier 1 deck. I would not be surprised at all if this becomes the new best deck, or one of the new best decks, right? If this becomes a tier 1 deck. Now, that being said, I'm not going to say that this version of the deck is going to be tier 1. This is a day 1 deck, right? This is a day 1 deck, which means like it's not perfect, it's not like ultra refined, and in addition to that, we don't really know what the meta around this deck is going to be like, right? So I can recommend this deck. This is my version of this deck right here, and I'm going to recommend it to you guys. But a week from now, you'll probably want to make some changes. Maybe a week from now, you will realize that, oh, Deny really belongs in this deck. Oh, we should probably be running some Nopifies, right? Or something like that. Or maybe we'll be going like, Retreat really isn't as great as we thought it was, and we'll take that out. You know, all those things are possible. But for now, this is what I've built. This is done excellent on the ladder for me. I think I've lost like twice with this deck, and I've played it like 15 games, so it's kind of nuts. It's kind of ridiculous. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into some games. Let's see if I can show you guys exactly why this deck is so ridiculous and why you're probably going to see a lot of it on ladder. So let's begin. Let us get in there. And wouldn't you know it? Oh, wouldn't you know it? We got a mirror match. Surprise, surprise. We have ourselves a mirror match. So basically, I'm just gonna mulligan everything that costs more than 3. If the card costs more than 3, it's getting out of here. We are a low curve deck. We want to be playing very quickly. We want to be dropping as many things every turn as we possibly can. That being said, okay, Dancing Droplet for Dancing Droplet. I'm gonna offer the trade. I don't have any recall things in my hand, and my opponent might. So I'll offer the trade. I'll see if we can trade them. And we can. That is fine by me. I also do have an elusive that I would not like to be blocked.
Hey, Krabby.
As do they.
That's my resting face.
We'll trade these as well if our opponent offers it. Lovely, lovely.
Hang on, Stern.
Hang on, Stern. And we're gonna get Irelia in there.
Fall, freedom grows.
And we'll see if our opponent has okay, they don't. They have an Azir.
Only awaited my return.
They don't also have the Irelia, or they might, and they just wanted to block with Azir. Oh, they didn't even block. I don't think that's correct. I think my opponent probably should have blocked there. I'm not going to attack though. I don't want to deal 3 to their Azir just for 1 on Irelia. That doesn't seem like, I'd rather keep Irelia at high health if I can. It might not end up mattering,
There is no time for fear.
but I would like to do that
Take your place.
so I can block things like this.
In Shurima's name.
In Shurima's name. Now we're gonna play our own
Heart
Azir.
leaps for every fallen ally.
A leader must see victory beyond each loss.
And that is fine right there. Maybe I should have. Maybe I actually should have blocked the Azir. Probably not the end of the world either way. Okay, and this is where the deck, this right here is where the deck starts getting a little silly. So I actually have a ton of options. We could go Green Glade Duo into Sparring Student into Flawless Duet, which would set up a huge attack with them, or we could go Sandswept Tomb and like set that up for later. I think we're gonna set up Sandswept Tomb next round. I think we're gonna go Green Glade into Sparring now, because that'll allow me also to play Ribbon Dancer, and that's just an insane amount of tempo, right? That's just an insane amount of stuff going on. That has to be better.
To the streets! Show them the might of our army!
Shows of power excite the people and quell our enemies. The order is given. Shurima is sand and sky, past and
And this is
present.
where, yeah, this is where the deck starts getting a little silly, right? Everything we have on the field synergizes with
Seek an audience.
attacking and synergizes with summoning units. And wouldn't you know it, we have a bunch of things that allow us to do exactly that. So I'm gonna attack, what, 3 times this round? That was 1. Now we're gonna play Ribbon Dancer.
Shoulders set, blade sharpened, plant that lead foot. Don't worry.
Here's
I've
2.
danced this 100 times.
And here's 3.
Navori, formations. Watch me now.
I'll even attack with everything. There's no point in holding back.
Your Emperor commands.
With me, today is the day we reclaim our homeland.
Now we don't get a Blade Surge here. Since Irelia leveled up on this attack, we don't get a Blade Surge, but yeah, our opponent knows that's an insane amount of damage. There's no way they can block the elusive. And it's just over.
They cheer on me.
It's just
Our
over.
legacy is eternal.
And that was and that was us up against the mirror match, right? Which means that our opponent was sort of going toe-to-toe with us in the early game. Imagine if you were playing a late game deck, right? Imagine if you're playing a slow deck that can't play any units in the first few turns. You're just done. It's just over, right? Ah, here we go again. And here we go again. And this is a pretty, I think this is a pretty accurate assessment of like the state of the ladder right now. If you're trying to ladder up, if you're trying to rank up and like climb out of platinum and into diamond, or out of diamond and into masters, this is probably what you're gonna look at a lot. It's just this deck everywhere. Well, various versions of it. Like, I don't run Ancient Preparations. I'm not running Ancient Prep in my deck, although it's not a bad addition. I just don't feel like I have room for it. I don't feel like I have room for it myself. So there is this deck, while not exactly difficult, isn't as easy as something like Pirate aggro or discard aggro. You do actually have to think about your turns and think about how you're gonna set everything up and like set up for this big, huge, like ridiculous turn where you attack 4 times, right? And so right now I'm thinking between playing Emperor's Dais and playing Green Glade Duo. I think I'm gonna go Green Glade Duo first. If my opponent has like a dancing droplet, that would be, I'm actually gonna go Dice. Because we're in the mirror match, if our opponent has their own elusive unit, I'd rather not, you know, just trade my Green Glade for that. But you could definitely make an argument for playing the Green Glade there. Ooh, ooh, another Dias. Ooh, another
Where
Dias.
they fall, freedom grows.
You need not follow, but you will
Okay.
witness.
Oh. Interesting, interesting. We will take 5. And here comes the Flawless Duet.
Faithless creature.
We'll block one of those. We'll block a Blade. I don't want Azir to take 3 if I can avoid it. I'd really rather prevent that. Oh, triple Emperor's Dais. Oh, baby. Oh, baby, a triple. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Boy, how do I even set this up?
Everything's better with company.
Says you.
We're gonna play the Green Glade duo. And our opponent does have their own elusive unit. That's unfortunate. That is unfortunate and annoying.
All in the shoulders.
You call that sneaky?
You're on the back foot.
So we're gonna attack like this,
Glorious sacrifice.
which should allow us to attack with Azir as well here. Should.
Greater things await.
Now the 6-1 obviously is going to die to the Navori Conspirator. There's not really anything I can do about that.
Don't want any trouble.
Don't want any trouble. Maybe attacking with Azir was still a mistake. Yeah, because he's just gonna run into a 2-2. So actually, I think I made a mistake there. Running Azir into a 2-2 like that is actually not helpful, right? Not what you want. Although we do have 2 different ways of recalling him, so it might be fine. Getting him low on health just to bring him back at full health, honestly, is maybe not the end of the world. But yeah, we need to be able to draw our own Irelia here. And then we'd be in business if we could draw another Blade Dancer. That would be good.
Azir welcomes all his subjects.
The cliffs themselves are my barracks.
Oh boy. Oh boy. That's a lot of damage we're taking.
With Azir's blessings.
Sedition.
Sedition. All right, so we're gonna save Azir here, and then we're gonna bring him right back. And then we're gonna play Emperor's Dais, and we're gonna see if we can overwhelm our opponent here. But it is not looking good.
My name echoes through every rock.
I think my mistake this game. I think my biggest mistake this game was actually losing my Blade Dancer. Blade Dancer is like the perfect lead-in follow target,
Remember this day.
and I sort of just gave it up for no reason. I think that was my mistake.
The order is given. Shurima is sand and sky, past and present. Arise.
That's a lot of sand soldiers.
what are
This is a lot of sand soldiers, however, right? You and what army? My opponent got us. That's actually just game, right? Because our opponent just plays this flawless duet and it kills us. We're actually just dead. That's funny. Well played. Actually, that's not true. We could Azir's Arise to hold on for a second, but that's not enough. But then we wouldn't have enough mana to play our own flawless
We were
duet.
born
That's
in
game.
the first land,
Our
and
opponent
we
got
will
us.
defend them until the end.
And that's sort of how this goes, right? Nah, actually, we couldn't survive even if we did all that. Yeah.
You dare.
That's just sort of how this that's how this matchup goes. If you falter, if you make one mistake, you're probably just done. You're probably just done. So in this matchup, drawing 3 Emperor's Dais is probably not ideal. Probably not the perfect thing to do. But I definitely could have played that better. I could have kept a hold of my Blade Dancer, my Ribbon Dancer, and like recalled it a little bit, and we could have played that better. We could have played that better. All right. Now, one thing this deck is actually quite weak to is anybody running the card Avalanche. Avalanche is something that we are terrified of. We do not like being hit by Avalanche, not even a little bit. Not even a little bit do we like that.
Check out these moves.
Check out these moves.
And punch.
So we're gonna have to be playing a little carefully here. a little carefully here around a card called Avalanche. So if I play Ribbon Dancer, this Aspiring Student instantly gets out of range, right? Instantly becomes out of range of Avalanche, which is pretty cool. So I think we're gonna do that immediately.
Spin it round, throw it down.
Right? This is a 4-4. This is just a 4-4 on round, on round 3, in addition to everything else we're doing. And that's pretty ridiculous. Our opponent's gonna be struggling. Our opponent's gonna be struggling to deal with this Sparring Student. One answer
There was a little fella asking for
One answer that always works on Sparring Student and cards like it is Time Bomb, as well as Blighted Ravine. Things that happen at the beginning of round will always hit this because there's no way for you to make it big next round, right? I'm a little afraid of Ice Shard. I want to play this Dancing Droplet to deal as much damage to our opponent as possible, but I am slightly afraid of Ice Shard, as well as like Mystic Shot and stuff, so I'm actually not going to do it.
Sweep the leg.
I'm actually not gonna do it. No need to get that greedy, right? No need to get that greedy. Is that a Mystic Shot? Ah, Troll Chant. Sure, dude. Absolutely. You can absolutely Troll Chant me, bro. I don't think, actually, I said I was afraid of Ice Shard, but I don't think this deck actually runs Ice Shard, so that might have been silly of me to be afraid of. We can play it now. We can certainly play it now. And now we have double lead and follow. Oh, hey, there is Ice Shard. Okay, they are actually running Ice Shard. Very interesting. So I'm going to choose to save my Dancing Droplet, mostly for the card draw. We could have also saved Ribbon Dancer. Uh-oh. 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 I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna do it again. I want that. Give me my Dancing Droplet. So now we get to play it again for free. Dancing Droplet essentially costs 0, right? We can always just play that. Our opponent can't really attack. Okay, I mean, I'll trade. I'll gladly trade for a Peddler, dude. Absolutely. Flawless Duet is fleeting, so there's no point in beating around the bush. There's no point in being coy. Right, we're just going in with that one. And now we can play Aurelia. Now we can play Aurelia. Aurelia will give us another Flawless Duet. Could also play Azir. I think Aurelia's better. Aurelia's generally better if you're attacking.
Show them no weakness.
We also know our opponent probably doesn't have any more Mystic Shots in their hand. They could. Our opponent could still have Mystic Shot in their hand, but I'm not going to play around it. They could also have Get Excited. Nothing I can really do about that.
Have a mushroom.
Have 3. We're just gonna begin our Flawless Duet.
I'm a peddler, not a meddler.
And now that our opponent tapped down to 0, I was a little afraid of Brittle Steel.
Follow my lead.
Now I don't have to be.
We dance to the drums of war, and all our hearts beat as one.
I think that was a mistake by my opponent. I think my opponent should not have played this Starlit Seer. If he had not, I would not have attacked. And I really would not have leveled up, but that's none of my business. But that's none of my business, right? Ooh, we find ourselves another retreat. And at this point, the game is just pretty much over, right? We're gonna play Ribbon Dancer. We're gonna get in a bunch of things. Heck, we might even play Azir first. and then play Ribbon Dancer. Doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. I'm gonna get greedy.
What you have seen today.
I am going to be greedy.
You need not follow, but you will witness.
So when we play this Ribbon Dancer, when we play this Ribbon Dancer, our opponent has to block all three of the things coming at it.
Shoulders set, blade sharpened, plant that lead foot.
Don't worry, I've danced this 100
And we have a
times.
Blade Surge to take out whatever we want, right? If our opponent has to block, I guess they don't have to block the blade, right? They can take 2 and not block the blade, but Ezreal dies if I want him to, and I think I do want him to. Sorry, buddy. Sorry, Ezreal. Gonna have to take that away from you. And then we just open attack. And now it's my turn to attack. I know I just attacked, but now it's my turn to attack. And that's basically a game, right? That's like, what is our opponent gonna do about it? What are they gonna do about that? What could you do about that?
Our home, our ancestors are safe once more.
Our ancestors are safe once more. What more can I say? What more can I say? All right, let's see if we can find ourselves a non-mirror match. Let's see how many games we can find today of non-mirror matches for this deck. Not many. Not many. So I think what we've learned here is that you have to go for a really aggressive opening hand in the mirror match. Like really aggressive opening hand in the mirror match. This looks better. This already looks much better. I'll just go for a turn 1 Doomkeeper. There's nothing wrong with a good old turn 1 Doomkeeper, you know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean? There's just nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, I'm not going to play Green Glade Duo because I want to have 1 spell mana for Irelia, right? So we're going to play Sparring Student
Call that technique.
instead of Green Glade Duo. And then this way, when we play Irelia, we can also play her Flawless Duet.
Where they fall, freedom grows.
Do not see what is.
See what will be. Alright, this should make the Sparring Student into a 4/4, which Azir will no longer be able to block.
Azir's command. Sedition.
And we will attack with everything. Alright, our opponent chooses to actually block the 2/1 instead of blocking Irelia, which is a bit interesting.
All in the shoulders.
Now that's a lot of
Your
Sand
rhythm's
Soldiers.
off.
I think I'm gonna learn from my mistakes. I think I'm gonna learn from my mistakes and not play into a Shapestone anymore. We'll just take 5. We're ahead. It's not like we're gonna fall behind anytime soon, so that should be fine. And we're just gonna set up. Our opponent has played Emperor's Dais and Azir.
Showtime.
Oh god. I was gonna say we're gonna take the time to do the same. Oh boy, that was actually a lot of damage. That was actually a fair bit of damage there. But it shouldn't matter.
Hey, Krabby.
Unless our opponent can literally kill us here, and I don't think they can.
Calls. The order is
Or
given.
maybe they can.
Tell the people what you have seen today.
Maybe I underestimated our opponent actually. Because that is lethal, right?
It's time.
Yeah, we actually do have to make some hard blocks here.
Hold up.
Oh, you're in for it.
This Green Glade may have been a mistake then. This Green Glade Duo may have actually been a mistake then. Or
Turn back, trespasser.
we could also do this. Now, if our opponent does in fact have a Shapestone, we do die here, which is not ideal.
Hurry, they await our signal.
So I'm actually gonna block like this.
Focus.
I'm gonna play around Shapestone. I'm gonna play super safe.
Left foot, left foot.
And we should be able to kill our opponent with this Green Glade duo. In theory, we should be able to kill our opponent with this Green Glade duo.
Shurima, your emperor has returned.
However, if our opponent has any sort of elusive of their own, we actually probably lose this game, which is a little sad.
Steady your heart.
Oh god.
Find your beat.
You dare.
You dare. Okay, no Shapestone. Alright, our opponent never had Shapestone. I knew they didn't have
All
Shapestone.
in the
Easy.
shoulders.
Obviously they didn't have Shapestone. That'd be silly.
I have risen. And with me, Shurima. The order is given.
That's my cue.
But yeah, this Green Glade duo now just is lethal all by herself.
Lost the beat.
So unless our opponent has unless our opponent has an elusive. Oh boy.
Look upon our work.
Look what we have built. So one thing I will say, games with this deck, they tend to be quick. They tend to be short. They tend to be short games. Hey, there we go. Finally a non-mirror match game. A game that is not a mirror. Okay. So this is potentially a deck that runs Avalanche, but generally it isn't. I don't think it really affects my mulligan here. We don't keep Field Musicians. We don't keep Retreat unless we have a Dancing Droplet in our hand. This is looking nice. This is looking like a nice hand.
The desert
By my side.
Sand and blood.
All right, we're gonna take our early 4 damage. We're gonna easy take our 4 damage here.
If it's made of sand, I can write it.
So something interesting here. I'm not gonna take advantage of it, but something interesting to note is that if you play something that blade dances, like a ribbon dancer, the blade is actually what gets hit by Roiling Sands. The blade is actually what gets vulnerable from Roiling Sands. I'd rather not give my Green Glade duo vulnerable, and I'd also rather not give Azir vulnerable. This Rockhopper is really in my way. I'd also rather not play Ribbon Dancer until I've already got a Green Glade duo out. We're gonna pass. Our opponent wants to tackle, I'll pass back. I'm gonna play Azir.
You need not bother.
You got caught.
And Azir gets vulnerable, which is not ideal, but probably needed to happen.
Gonna find a gift for Renekton, right, Arda?
Gonna find a gift for Renekton, right on now.
Always forward.
This card is
One's a fighter.
this card is really strong,
I will run you
like
over.
ridiculously strong. Her voice lines, however, are not that strong. I'm gonna say it. Merciless Hunter's voice lines are a little sad. A little. You know what I mean? Just a little like
We'll get our licks in.
We'll get our licks in.
The cliffs themselves are my barracks.
Everything's better with company.
Says you.
All right, so now we're gonna drop double. I don't know what my opponent has or doesn't have in their hand right now, so that makes them pass like this.
Hey, Krabby.
That's
But we're gonna go double a double Greenglade Caretaker, Greenglade duo. Oh yeah, and our opponent, that should basically just be game, right? These two are gonna get such a high attack stat here.
Spin it round, throw it down.
like that's already just game, right?
What you have
Just oops.
seen today.
Oops. Oh, you couldn't answer 2 8/1s for 2 mana? Oh, well. That's pretty rough. That's pretty rough, opponent.
Look upon our work. Look what we have built.
Sucks. I guess you should have played Ice Shard. Right? I guess you should have put Ice Shard in your deck. Oh boy. Let's keep going. Let us go again. Oh wow, another Overwhelm deck. Apparently there's only 2 region combos today. Today, at this time that I'm playing right now, there's only Shurima Ionia and Shurima Freljord. That's it. Those are the 3 regions. Shurima, Freljord, and Ionia. That's all that's here. Oh, we actually got the crazy combo. We actually got the insane combo. Okay. Okay. Did I just throw you back? Okay. So let's see if I can showcase exactly why this card in particular is insane. Let's see if I can show it off here. Oh my goodness. This should work. This should work unless our opponent literally is about to play an Ice Shard on us. Yep. Here we go. Oh, here we go. I'm actually gonna wait. I could play this and then return Irelia, but I think I want to wait. Until next turn. I think I want to play Sparring Students and then play Dancing Droplet. I think that's better. That's certainly greedier, right? All right, so here we go. So now that we got Aurelia out on round 2, you know, for 2 mana, I spent 3 mana to put Aurelia out on the field on round 2, which is insane. Now that I've done that,
What's today's lesson?
I'm gonna play Sparring Student, and then I'm gonna play Sparring Student, and then I'm gonna play Dancing Droplet, and then I'm gonna play Flawless Duet, and our opponent's kind of just gonna die. That might be game. That might be gay. Yeah.
Our home, our ancestors are safe once more.
I wish he had let me show it off. I wish my opponent had actually let me combo off to show you guys exactly what would have happened there. But yeah, no, he was right to surrender. That was a good surrender because we were going to kill him there. All right, let's see if we can get a real one. Let's see if we can get a real game in here. Okay, we got ourselves Elise. We got ourselves an Elise deck. Is this? No. Is this Karina Control? No way. No way it's Karina Control. I don't think we keep Retreat without a Dancing Droplet or a Ribbon Dancer in our hand. We do draw a Ribbon Dancer. Meh. It's fine. Now, unfortunately, we're not going first this game. So we can't drop Dune Keeper on round 1. Nah, we can drop it on round 2 though. But we can simply drop it on round 2.
The land obeyed.
Come closer. I don't bite.
I don't think we give up our 2-1. I don't think we attack with our 2-1 into Elise here. We could choose to do that, but I don't think it's the play. I don't think it's the play. I'm also not gonna block the 1-1 with him either. I'm just gonna play Azir.
Do not see what is.
See what will be. Stalking Shadows, okie dokie. Okay. All right, so now we're gonna go sparring student,
Ready, willing, and learning.
and we're gonna begin comboing off. Right, we're gonna start the combo. Like, oh, we could go Irelia here. Actually, we could play Irelia here, but I think it might be better to play Ribbon Dancer instead, just because Irelia dies to Mystic Shots and stuff, and if I play lead and follow, I won't be able to play either of the flawless duets. So I'm actually gonna go Ribbon Dancer instead of Irelia here.
Spin it round, throw it down.
That way, if we want or need to, we can play lead and
What's
follow
your hurry?
on the Ribbon Dancer and start getting some bounces going, start getting some recalls going.
Stand down.
Interesting. Okay.
Always forward.
We're not going to attack with Ribbon Dancer because we have lead and follow in our hand, right? The box, exactly. We want to dodge stuff like this. We want to dodge stuff like this box. Unfortunately, it is going to take down our sparring student, which is not ideal. But it will not take down our blade dancer. Our ribbon dancer. I always call this a blade dancer. It is in fact a ribbon dancer. But our sparring student does go down, and that's not ideal.
Left foot, left foot.
That being said, we level up Azir and we're still like attacking. So like, I think we're fine. I think I get the feeling we're still fine.
And with me, Shurima. Your Emperor commands.
Pretty good. That is that's pretty good. And we get a retreat. Mwah. Oh, that is a nice retreat. Vile Feast. Interesting.
We must all make sacrifices.
We must all make sacrifices. I'm gonna play Blossoming Blade here.
Give me grace enough to mask my doubts.
That is fine.
Skitter out from the darkness.
Sedition.
We will make blocks here. Mostly, these are sort of like aggressive blocks, right? I'm blocking so that my opponent has fewer blockers. I'm not blocking because I'm afraid of my Nexus taking damage. I'm blocking because I don't want my opponent to be able to block me, right? I'm making aggressive blocks. Ooh, Irelia is actually leveled up. Wow, Irelia is actually already leveled up, which is hilarious. That is hilarious. So we're gonna want Irelia to be on the field when we play Ribbon Dancer. Because when
We
she
were born
sees...
in the First Lands, and we will defend them until the end.
Because when she sees attacks, she creates a Blade Surge.
Every blade, every beat in its place.
But yeah, this might be the turn where we win the game. This might be the turn where we end the game. Oh, I think it is. Oh, I think it'd be the turn where we end the game. Let's start with this. We'll start with the flawless duet.
Fly true as one heart to another.
The order is given.
Okay, yep, our opponent can't block. If our opponent blocks at all, we just Blade Surge. Right? So now we can play Ribbon Dancer.
Shoulders set, blade sharpened, plant that lead foot.
Attack number 2.
I've danced this 100 times.
Yep, no blocks, no blocks. I'm even gonna play my Dancing Droplet. Just cause that's lethal all by itself, right? And surrender? Huh? Do I see a surrender perhaps? No?
Destiny call. Your Emperor commands.
I have triple Blade Surge?
Look upon our work.
Look what we have built! And yeah, I think that's a good place to stop, actually. We could just keep doing this for hours. I could just keep doing that over and over and over, but I think you guys get the concept, right? Deck is pretty good. So what do you do about this deck, right? Let's talk about what exactly this deck is weak to, because I'm pretty sure the only thing I've lost to today has been the mirror match, right? I have lost with this deck a few times, and usually when I lose, it's because I got disrupted. As crazy and as outlandish as this deck can get, and as big swings as it can develop, if you can take away their key pieces, it actually does fall apart, and it really hinders them from being able to set up those big attacks. And they'll run out of cards before too long if they can't combo off properly. Mystic Shots are a little difficult for this deck to deal with, right? If you can Mystic Shot Irelia, your opponent, the Irelia deck has to really be careful about when they play Irelia. Same with Get Excited. Same with Avalanche. Forcing this opponent to forcing this deck to slow down and avoid getting hit too hard by Avalanche can really buy you a lot of time. Early challengers like birds and saplings can mess this deck up. Obviously Irelia does not like blocking saplings. Getting a surprise, Brittle Steel off on Irelia to stop her from attacking you can do a lot. There definitely is counterplay to this deck, and the counterplay is disruption, right? If you can disrupt this deck, it can fall apart. So that is what I would recommend. Try all those things. Try decks with Frostbites, Brittle Steels especially, decks with Avalanche, decks with Mystic Shot, early game removal, right? Nice efficient early game removal can really make this deck have a harder time, but it is still, don't get me wrong, this deck is still gonna steal a lot of wins even from like those decks that do well against it. This deck is crazy, and it's just sometimes ridiculously hard to outvalue. So I hope this was helpful. I hope you guys enjoyed those games. I hope you guys are excited about all the things that we might explore in this patch. If you guys are excited that the Shuriman Desert is not as vast as it once was. And yeah, I'm gonna stop talking. I'm gonna get out of your guys' face. You guys can go back to doing whatever it is you want to do with your day. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.